Hi everyone, welcome to Resilience by Choice. This is a channel about learning how to swim for beginners. Hopefully you can learn some tips here and there. A little bit about myself. My name's Thomas and I've been swimming for basically my entire life. As I was a kid, I swam in this pool. This is my backyard pool behind my house, and I've been swimming in it as a kid till now I'm in my mid-20s. So I've gathered a lot of swimming experience, and including on a swim team in my high school, and along with my sister who swam competitive swimming. So I have some data points here and there that help me in swimming, and I want to share that with everyone. Number one, your muscles are tight. Your muscles are tense. When your muscles are tense, they are hard, they're not flexible, and it can create your body to be in positions that are abnormal, such as shrugging your shoulders close to your neck and not fully extending your arm, not fully kicking your leg or bending your knees. So when you are not maximizing your body's full potential of swimming freestyle, that can create, or that can make your body, predominantly your hips and your legs, to sink. So what I think the solution to this problem is just to prepare your body. If you're stressed about the water, try to acclimate your body to the water. So easiest way to do that is to start with a 5 to 10 minute warm-up. I would first start with arm circles in both directions. You can do 10 in the forward direction, then 10 in the backward direction, alternating from small to big and big to small. Then I'll follow with some arm stretches, using your left arm pulling it to the side, using your right arm pulling it to the side and stretching it, holding to 5 to 10 seconds. Stretching your legs, try to touch your toes. You can do ankle sweeps. You can do a variety of stretches just to stretch out your muscles. In addition to stretching, I would do you can do the stretches in the water or outside the water, but once you're done your stretches, I would get your body acclimated to the temperature of the water. So actually getting into the water, getting your waist into the water first. If you are afraid of the water and afraid that it's cold, I would get into the water where it is shallow so that you can get the water up to your waist, and start by just walking around. Walk around a couple of rounds. You can start getting your hands a bit wet, your forearms a bit wet, and move your arms in the water to try to get used to it. And then slowly you can take some water and dab it on your upper body, get your upper body slowly acclimated to the water temperature. And once your body is more or less ready for the water, then I would do some bobs, which is just getting your head underwater. So I would just start from a standing position and then crouch down to get my whole head under the water and come back up. So it's like, instead of going down and staying down there, it's submerging myself and getting my whole body into the water and coming back out, almost like a breath, and going back in, doing for 5 to 10 times depending on your preference, and that will get your body acclimated to the water. And on the last one, I sometimes stay all the way down and just stay down there, because after a couple bobs my body is used to the water, and on the last one I just stay down there to just kind of take everything in. With my goggles, I can look out, see the water, and fully get my body ready to swim. The second reason is that you are not breathing, or you're not breathing efficiently. When you're not doing these two things, it can create a domino effect that will affect your hips and your lower body to sink. So let's start with the first one, not breathing at all when you're swimming freestyle. So when you are exercising, your muscles are using energy, and they need energy by providing oxygen. And so you're breathing oxygen, and that supplies your muscles. So if you're not breathing at all and you're swimming, you are basically depriving your muscles of energy, and that will create a domino effect into your focus, your arm movements, your leg movements, and that in turn may affect you being able to keep your hips and legs above the surface. Not above the surface, but near the surface, sorry. And the second point is you're breathing inefficiently. When you're breathing inefficiently while swimming freestyle, the inefficiency may start to build up, and it may affect your overall focus. So what I mean is, when you're breathing, typically you're side breathing during freestyle. So what I like to do is I go 1 stroke, 2 stroke, 3, breathe to the side. Then I go 4 stroke, 5 stroke, 6 stroke, breathe to the side on this opposite side than the first side. So that creates a little rhythm that I like to follow. And what I mean by being inefficient is, as I'm breathing, if you're not very comfortable with the water, it could be very easy to drink the water while breathing, because you're inhaling to get air. And so as you're doing that while side breathing, if you don't feel that comfortable in the water, your natural reaction is to fully clear your mouth away from the water to breathe. But as you're doing that, if you're fully clearing and you're clearing too much away from the water, it's almost like you're lifting your whole head out of the water to breathe. And that can be very inefficient over longer distances of swimming. And so that can tire yourself out. That can introduce muscle tightness in your neck, because it's an awkward position, or you can strain your neck by continuously going out of the water. And so when you're not breathing efficiently, you're not getting enough oxygen, you're not using your full lung capacity to breathe, that can affect your buoyancy. What buoyancy is if gravity acts downwards, when you're in the water, buoyancy acts upwards. The way you float is that you have more buoyancy than gravity. When you inflate your lungs to 100%, you're maximizing your buoyancy. So if you're only getting a 50% breath as you're breathing, you're not maximizing your buoyancy. So getting a good, efficient breath is quite important to your overall stroke, and in turn, that may help your lower body to stay afloat. Number 3, your body is not in a streamlined position. What streamlined position is basically a position where you are trying to have the least amount of drag. So think about, as you enter the water in a race, the Olympians, they dive into the water. They stand on the block in almost like a crouch position, and as the I guess whistle or the beeper beeps, they get their hands up into a streamlined position like this, and they dive into the water. The reason you get into a streamlined position is you're creating a like uniform, almost like a pencil that helps you pierce through the water and go as far as you can. And so when you're not in a streamlined position, it could be that my head is out like this. And now when my head is out, the water is gonna hit my forehead, and it's not in a streamlined position. But if I'm in like this, I'm gonna break the water with my hands, and then the water is just gonna flow in front of my face and behind my head. And so that streamlined position is very important. How that translates to freestyle is that the head is the most common, I think, most common denominator or factor that affects the streamlined position. So when you're swimming freestyle, your head movement can increase drag when you're looking forward. When you're looking forward into where you're going, that will increase drag, because if you're swimming and I'm looking forward, you'll see that my forehead is up and the water's hitting here. But if I'm down, I'm already kind of breaking it with my fingertips, and the water is flowing through the back of my head and the front of my face.
I forgot to mention that when your head is not in a streamlined position, and when you angle your head upwards, your body is acts like a straight line. So if you angle your head upwards, you see my wrist portion angles downwards. And so if my fingertips right here are the head, and my wrist area is my lower body, if I'm not in a streamlined position, you could tell that my legs and hips angle downward, which means when you're not in a streamlined position, that could be a reason to why your legs and your hips are sinking.
And so the tip I would give is you don't always have to look in front of you. You can look down at the pool as well. And depending on your type of pool, you can look at the bottom of the pool, because in Olympic pools, there's markings at the bottom of the pool that kind of show where the wall is. So the wall on one side and the wall on the other side, you can look at the bottom, and that'll help you gauge your distance. If you're swimming in the lane by yourself, you can totally just use those markings at the bottom of the pool to help you gauge to when to look up and when to look down. But obviously, when we're swimming, you're typically swimming with people in the water. And so if you're swimming with other people in your lane, you're gonna have to look up. So I would look up. If there's no one there, then I'll look down. If I look up and I see that there's people there, I would continue looking up, making sure that I have enough space that I won't bump into them and that they won't bump into me, so that we're keeping each other safe. And this is when I'm swimming lane swim. If you're swimming leisure swim and there's no lanes at all, you have to be very careful, because there is no structure to that swimming program, and it's very easy for you to bump into someone, and you don't want to bump into someone head first or even them jumping on you. So swimming freestyle in a pool that doesn't have lanes, I personally think is very risky. So I would try to avoid that. But of course, as beginners, your stroke may not be that great at the moment, and so you may want a pool where you can touch the bottom. And in lane swim, oftentimes it's in a pool that is deeper, that you can't touch the bottom. So it's kind of a give and take. And so you should be careful whenever you're swimming. Don't just look down to reduce your drag. You want to be safe in swimming as well. So that's a give and take relationship with the type of program you choose, and be safe, everyone. Number 4 is not creating enough disruption in the water. So an example of what I mean is, a lot of people have been in an airplane before, and I can use this example. I mean, even if you haven't been in an airplane, you know that airplanes are on the tarmac and they gain a lot of speed and then they lift up into the air. And one of the concept is a very difficult physics concept. I'm not going to go into it, but basically there's a difference in pressure at the top of the wing and the bottom of the wing. So how we can relate that to us is that pressure is related to velocity. And in our case, if we can create a difference in pressure on top of our body and below our body while we're swimming, that will lift us up like an airplane. How do we create a difference in pressure on top of our body or below our body? Is by using our arms and using our legs. If we're using our strokes and pushing the water below our body, we're increasing the speed of the water below our body. If we're using our legs to flutter kick, we're propelling ourselves forward and creating a disruption of water below us and a little bit above us, so that will create the difference in water speed, and that will lift our hips up, lift our legs up, and then that will propel us forward. What I do with my arms is an S pull. Basically, I enter the water and I move to the outside and pull to the inside of my body, close to the center, and then I go back out to the side of my body, and I'm making sure that my fingers are in a closed, almost like a cup, to ensure that I'm pushing as much water as I can. I'm not having my hands open like this so that the water can go through. I'm closing it, creating a surface, and pushing as much water as I can. And number 5 is just, you are too muscular. The more muscular you are, the more you're gonna sink. It's because muscles are denser than body fat, and I personally have trouble floating, so I sink more. And so if you know that you sink more, you have to use more energy to propel yourself forward. And this ties back to number 4, which is you have to create more disruption of water below you by using your arms and kicking faster and more efficiently, making sure that your kick comes from your hips and not your knees, making sure that you're not bending your knees too much, because the flutter kick should originate from your hips. Naturally, if you're doing it correctly, your knees will bend as a result of the kick, but we just want to make sure that we're not kicking by bending our knees. This is all for my video. I hope this helps. And if you have any more questions and concerns, please let me know. I am learning on this journey to transfer my knowledge to other beginner swimmers, and teaching is not something I do often, so I want to use this platform to help myself get better at teaching, and hopefully you guys learn a little bit more about swimming. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.